Today we are going to dig into one of the most powerful forces in all of human history. It's something so fundamental we kind of take it for granted, but we shouldn't. It was the discovery that made literally everything else possible. So let's get right into it.
You know, when you think about the biggest leaps forward for humanity, a few things probably pop into your head. But what if the single most important breakthrough isn't what you think it is?
The wheel was a game changer, for sure, but it showed up much later in the story. No, we're talking about something far more basic, far more primal.
And it definitely wasn't a digital network. I mean, before we could connect the entire world with information, we first had to figure out how to survive the night. And for that, we needed something elemental.
That's it, fire. The ability to control a flame seems so simple, but that one skill is the spark that ignited civilization itself. It's what turned us from just another vulnerable animal into the rulers of this planet.
To really get how huge this was, you have to go back. I mean, try to imagine a world that plunges into total, absolute darkness the second the sun sets. A world where we were nowhere near the top of the food chain.
Just look at this mismatch. Early humans were completely outclassed by nature. We didn't have claws, we didn't have natural armor, and let's be honest, we weren't that strong. In a world full of predators and brutal freezing cold, we were on the menu.
Can you imagine? Every single sunset brought this new wave of terror. Life was just a constant, desperate fight to see the next sunrise. There was no time for art, no culture, no science, just the raw struggle to stay alive.
And then, something changed. Now, we didn't invent fire, of course, we just stumbled upon it, maybe a lightning strike or a volcano. At first, it was just another destructive force of nature, something to be absolutely terrified of.
So this is the whole journey, right? First, we feared it, but then we started observing it. We probably noticed that predators stayed away from it. We felt its warmth. Eventually, we went from just protecting a flame we found to learning how to create it whenever we wanted. That moment of control changed our entire destiny.
And the first, and maybe the most profound change, wasn't social, it was biological. Mastering fire meant we could cook our food. And that simple act, cooking, literally re-engineered our bodies from the inside out. Think about it. Before cooking, our bodies used a massive amount of energy just chewing tough meat and digesting raw plants. Cooking breaks all that down before it even enters our mouth, making it way easier to absorb nutrients. It's like pre-digesting our meals. All of a sudden, our bodies were flooded with this huge surplus of calories and energy that we'd never had access to before. This wasn't just a small boost. This was like hitting the evolutionary jackpot. And all that extra fuel had to go somewhere, and it went straight to our heads. A lot of scientists believe this massive energy surplus is exactly what fueled the incredible growth of the human brain. Bigger brains meant smarter humans, better tools, and more complex problem solving. In a very real way, cooking made us intelligent. So with physical survival getting a little easier, fire kicked off a second revolution, a social one. The night was no longer a time to hide in terror. It became a time to gather together. The campfire became the very first community center. In its light, we were safe from whatever was lurking in the dark. We could share food, plan the next day's hunt, and pass down knowledge through stories. Language, culture, trust, the very foundations of society were all forged right there in the glow of those first flames. So beyond changing our bodies and our communities, fire became the ultimate tool. It was the engine that powered every single technological advancement they came after.
It really did set off this incredible chain reaction. First, we're hardening the tips of wooden spears to hunt better. Thousands of years later, we're firing pottery and bricks to build the first cities. Then comes metallurgy, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age. All of that is totally impossible without intense heat. This chain leads directly to the steam engines of the Industrial Revolution and even the power plants that run our world today. Every single machine we have carries the legacy of that first spark.
So when you really look at the modern world, at our skyscrapers, our cars, our computers, you can trace all of it, every last bit, back to that one fundamental breakthrough.
It's such a profound idea, isn't it? The control of energy is the real bedrock of civilization. Fire was our first and most important lesson in how to take the power of the universe and use it to build a world of our own.
And this brings us to a final, really crucial thought. Fire could destroy everything, or it could build everything. It was a tool of immense power that required wisdom. Well, today we're facing our own new fires, the internet, artificial intelligence, and that ancient question is now ours to answer. Will we use all this new power to build, or are we going to get burned?